Liz Truss. She is the former UK Prime Minister and the host of the newly launched Liz Truss Show on YouTube. Madam Prime Minister, good to see you. Congratulations.
Great to be here.
There's a lot that I want to talk to you about, including your new YouTube show that launched on Friday. So brand new, really great topics that you're covering. We're going to dive into that. But I wanted to get your thoughts first and foremost on the president. President Trump, obviously, in his second term, we've seen that he's been on the political spectrum, on the national stage, the world stage, really, for the past decade, if you will. You've gotten a chance to watch the leadership by President Trump. He's out there now almost campaign style when he doesn't have to be. And he's doing so talking about affordability here in the States. I wonder, from your vantage point, what is your assessment of the president and how he's governing the land?
Well, we're insanely jealous of what's happening in America, because if you look at Europe and Britain, we've got huge problems with mass migration. Our economies are stagnant, people's living standards are dropping, and the American economy is doing much better than the British economy. Britain is now poorer than Mississippi per capita, which is the poorest state in the United States of America. And what Trump is doing on energy dominance, fracking, or drilling for oil and gas, tax cuts with a big, beautiful bill, that is the kind of policy we need in UK and Europe. So we look across the Atlantic, we feel the energy, we feel the leadership, and look what's happening on whether it's peace deals, whether it's the approach to China. It's all coming now from the United States of America.
Let's talk about that peace deal. You lead me right to my next question, which is the Trump administration working on this peace agreement between Ukraine, between Russia. Obviously, a lot of work's been going into this, and this has been a promise of the president on the campaign trail. But here's what he told a reporter recently about how those negotiations are going. Let me play this for you, and then we'll get your response.
What's your next step in Russia-Ukraine talks after last week's negotiations?
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it. But I'm not sure that Zelensky is fine with it. His people love it. But he hasn't read it.
So, Madam Prime Minister, to that point, the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, met with European allies in London recently, going over this peace proposal, this peace deal. A part of this has to do with secession of land by Ukraine. In order to do that, he needs protection. Zelensky needs that. But ultimately, if you can compare and contrast the United States, President Trump brokering this deal versus Ukraine's European allies getting in the mix of this, where do you see this ultimately going, and how big of a role does the United States play in this brokered peace deal?
Well, what I want to see is, I don't want to see Putin benefit from the invasion of Ukraine, and I want to see this war ended. Ultimately, it's up to the Ukrainians what they are prepared to accept. But if Putin is seen to have won, it sends a very strong message to the likes of President Xi that this type of aggression works. I am critical of Europe, though, for not spending enough on defence for many, many decades. And this is the situation we're in. I've talked about European economies being stagnant, including Britain. We haven't stepped up. We haven't rearmed enough. And we need to do more, because we can't just rely on America to protect Europe. I want to see a strong Europe of nation states that actually show leadership rather than running to the United States the whole time. And that has been a core part of the problem as well.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.